we're back again with another video, and I'm in Japan. Now, for the longest time, I've always wanted to come to Japan, and this is my first time ever being here. And I want to give you some perspective on my experience so far in Japan, not only as a first timer here, also as a foreigner and as a black foreigner. Because I used to watch a lot of videos like this. I'm sure that it can give you some perspective. Now, one thing that you will notice if you come down here is that the people are very individualistic, and the communities that do form within amongst themselves are very tight, but it's not something you're gonna break into. You will never be Japanese, you know what I'm saying? If you go out of your way to ask a question or you look for help, they will absolutely go above and beyond in making sure that you're comfortable and that you have a good time here. But no one is going to go out of their way to approach you. At least it hasn't happened to me. And for the most part, I felt like, oh, maybe it's like a culture thing. Maybe they don't really want me here, because in different Asian countries, people will acknowledge you, right? But here it's like very tunnel vision. People just ignore you. They go about their day. And I'm not saying I need the attention, but I am saying it's a lot different. It's a different way of life, I guess. Even the structure of a lot of restaurants, the seating arrangement, you'll find a lot of single desk, a lot of booths where it's like you're blocked off, and in comparison, the amount of seating arrangements that is together, tables of 6, tables of 4, they're not as common as what I've seen. I think that's one interesting thing about being in Japan so far, is that everybody just does their own thing. Now, another thing about being black in Japan, or just being in Japan as a foreigner, is the language barrier. Now, this one's obvious. In Japan, they're going to speak Japanese. Now, even though people speak Japanese, here's what I'm saying. Their technology is very good. The technology that they have here is very good, and it does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to translating. You can get around Japan without needing to speak much Japanese. I recommend you do, right? I recommend you learn. Even a little bit of conversational Japanese will help you a lot, because when you speak to people, they don't know that much English, and it becomes, I feel like the communication, like the language barrier, is way higher. I feel like in other Asian countries, it's like they don't necessarily speak English, but it's in their education system. Like if you go to the Philippines, they speak English. If you go to Thailand, a lot of the pockets of tourism speaks English, and it's a lot easier to navigate. Even in Vietnam, there's not that much focus on it, but there's more of an effort. But I feel like in Japan, if you give them a little bit of Japanese, they will run with it. I remember I was in the grocery store. I went to the Family Mart and I bought like a honey bun kind of thing. And I asked the guy, I was like, "Sumimasen, kore wa oishii desu ka?" Right? I had asked him like, "Oh, does this taste good?" And this guy hit me with like level 5 Japanese. He was like, "Hi." And he just went on. He said it super fast, and I was like, yo, Duolingo did not prepare me for this, bro. Duolingo taught me what to say, but they didn't tell me what I needed to hear back. That was something to really keep in mind, is like, if you're gonna come here and you're gonna speak Japanese, be prepared for them to hit you with it back, like full force. That was really funny to kind of experience. And it happens all the time. Even if you go, sumimasen, or I'm gonna say, sumimasen, Nihongo, Sukoshi desu, right? I don't speak a lot of Japanese. They'll be like, daijoubu, daijoubu, but that's the main way of communication. Another thing about being in Japan that I find was really interesting, and this is outside of just being a foreigner, was the transportation system. It is super efficient. I'm talking about you'll get a train every 10 minutes. You can go across the country with their transportation system. I was in Osaka when I landed, and now I'm in Shizuoka, and it took me 1 train and 2 hours to get here. It was crazy, really efficient, and everything is very seamless. It seems like they have a lot of they're just ahead of it. They're ahead of the game. They know what they're doing. Everything is well integrated. The taxi service as well as the train system is really well done. So you're never going to be in a situation where it's like, oh, you don't have an option to get around. So it's really, really advanced in that aspect. Meeting people in Japan is a lot different than the West. I feel like there's this concept called nanpa, right? Basically, I think this really only applies to picking up the opposite gender, but I don't know if it's like universal to just cold approaching or talking to strangers, but it's very frowned upon to just like approach someone and talk to them, right? I don't know if it applies to both sides, but if you just go out of your way to be like, oh, hey, excuse me, and you start a conversation with someone you don't know, it's very like weird here. They don't like that. So how I've been doing it is I think I've been doing it in the worst way. But like if I see someone on the train, right, I'll just ask them for help. I'll be like, I'm talking about like just in general, because I'm new here. The best thing I find to be able to enjoy a country is to ask the locals what to do. If I'm on the train and I'm sitting next to someone, it doesn't matter if it's a man, a woman, older person, someone my age, ask them. And I'll be like, hey, I'll put it on my phone, Google Translate. Hey, like it's my first time here. Do you have any recommendations for places to visit or things to see? And that's kind of been working for me. But there's a very big emphasis on respect in this country. You respect them, they respect you. And I think that's universal. You don't want to disrespect anyone. But so far, those are like the biggest things I've taken away from being in Japan as a foreigner, especially a black foreigner. And if you were to ask me any race-specific questions, do people stare at me? Do people treat me differently? No. Honestly, when I first came down here, I didn't know what to expect. And I heard that a lot of people were saying that there's a lot of discrimination against certain races here. I don't think that's the case. I do think, though, when it comes down to the perception of you, you will stand out, but you won't be, at least this is what happened for me. For me, what happened is that I get completely ignored. I am invisible in this country. I'm talking about I walk down the street and people just don't pay attention to me at all. And you know it's bad when like you're going down, let's say you're in the entertainment district, right? You're walking down and like, even the people who are supposed to like, talk to you to bring you into their business or like their restaurant or whatever, they're ignoring you. Yeah, no, Japan has been a very isolated space for me. Another thing too is that their culture is very, what's it called? No, I forgot the point I was gonna make. What was I gonna say? I forgot. Anyways, that has been the bulk of my experience so far in Japan. It's a really nice place. I definitely recommend coming here, but there's gonna be a way of doing things that you need to respect before you come. And if you do, the Japanese people will respect you in turn. I think that's really universal, but that's been my experience so far in Japan. I've always wanted to make a video like this, and I'm finally glad that I got my dream trip. And I hope that it was somewhat helpful for anybody who's planning a trip down here as well. Watch this video, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.